Hey guys, we've got Nancy Vang here with us today, and she is a veteran medical assistant with over 7 years of experience working in a variety of different practices and settings. So I get asked the question all the time, what's a day like as a medical assistant? Is it hectic? Is it fun? Is it stressful? So I thought, why not bring an actual medical assistant who's a veteran in the space and an expert to share those details with you. So Nancy, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Nancy Vang, and I have been a certified medical assistant since 2013. So I come with a good bit of knowledge, and I've also worked in a variety of different offices. Today, we're going to go over a few different things. I'm going to briefly go over my morning routine, and I'm also going to talk about the tasks and responsibilities that I do on a daily basis as a medical assistant, and closing out what I do to help myself prepare for the next day. If you stay with me throughout the video, I will give you some valuable information on what you can do to take the next steps on becoming a certified medical assistant. Let's go ahead and get started. So what time do I usually get up? Well, that can vary because I have worked in offices that operate Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., but I've also worked in offices that open as early as 7:30 a.m. or as late as 10 a.m. And it just varies depending on where you work at. And that's one of the things I love about being a medical assistant is that you can find a schedule that can accommodate you. But for me, for the most part, I wake up at 6 a.m. and that gives me ample time to get myself ready and my daughter ready. But before I head out that door, there's a couple things I want to make sure of. I want to make sure that my hair is nicely groomed and that my scrubs are nice and ruled. You will be the first person that patients interact with for the most part, and you want to give them a good impression of yourself, but your company as well. So keep that in mind before you head out that door and go down the road and head to your office. Now, depending on where your position is going to be at in the office, you may be given different responsibilities. Most medical assistants are seen giving direct patient care alongside a physician. There are other medical assistants that may work in the lab, or they may be in an administrative position at the front or in the back handling triage calls. It just depends on where the office needs you that day. So I'm going to briefly go over these different positions, and we're going to go into detail on what they do on a daily basis as well. If you are working directly with patients that day, you're typically working alongside a physician. When the patients arrive at the office, you'll pull them back, collect all their pertinent vital signs, and then transition them into the exam room. After you transition them into the exam room, you'll briefly go over their medical history, review their medications, and note any changes in their chart. When the physician comes in, you may be asked to stay or you may be able to leave. And it all depends on the preference of your provider. So as you gain more experience and you move from becoming a beginner medical assistant to a more seasoned expert medical assistant, you will learn what the preferences are for the office and what you can and can't do for that physician. Some physicians allow for you to collect results beforehand, such as a urine sample or swabbing a patient's throat if they're coming in complaining of a sore throat, and all that you will learn within time. During the downtime of dealing with direct patient care, you may be asked to call patients back or to do more things for the patients, such as sending out referrals or even going in and drawing blood or assisting the patient out to the door. It really depends on what the patient's in for, but for the most part, you work directly with the patient alongside the physician. By the way, guys, if you are serious about becoming a certified medical assistant, you have to check out my free masterclass. In this session, I go over what is expected of a medical assistant, how to save time, money, and talk about training, and I will also cover the common mistakes that you should avoid in becoming a medical assistant. Definitely check it out. Again, it's free. Just visit medicalassistantsmasterclass.com. As a medical assistant, if you are positioned into the lab, your responsibilities may differ just a little bit. One thing is that in the lab, there are a multitude of machines that need to be calibrated and turned on to make sure that they're operating to regulatory standards. And that may be running controls or even just making sure to call and get them serviced when they need to. After that, when patients start arriving, you may be asked to do what they call venipuncture, where they actually draw blood from the patient. You're also responsible for specimen collection, specimen drop-off. You're also responsible for following up on labs that may not have come in as anticipated. So all of that may fall onto you, but you may also be in the line for direct patient care in that you may be asked to step out of the lab to go assist another patient in another room, or a physician may need you if their medical assistant is currently not available. If you are positioned in the administrative role, you may be asked to schedule patients, schedule follow-ups for patients, call referring offices, handle paperwork for the patients such as prior authorizations for insurance, or following up on referrals and checking in and checking out patients. But don't be worried, because as much as these are very different roles, they overlap in so many ways. And so when you get good training from your office and when you are given the tools to be successful in your office, you'll be able to fulfill these tasks without any problem. So trust that your office will give you the right training and the right tools to make sure that whatever you do efficiently, effectively, and accurately. I love being a medical assistant. I really do. One of the things that I love most about being a medical assistant is the relationships that you build with all your patients. You get to learn about where they come from, what they've done in their past. You learn about their families, their children, their grandchildren. And it's just amazing how much someone has accomplished in their lives once you get the chance to really get to know them. That's probably one of the biggest things that really made me love becoming a medical assistant. One of the downsides of being a medical assistant on a daily basis is that it can be very stressful. You may end up finding patients come in for emergency situations, and that can derail your whole workflow. But as you roll with the punches and as you become more adaptive in your environment, you start to learn what you can and can't do, and you start to make time for things that are more prioritized and things that you can, do a little bit later on in the day. But being stressful, in a stressful environment during part of your day is just part of what it's like to work in the medical field. And as long as you keep an open mind and as long as you prioritize your time, you should be able to navigate these stresses perfectly fine.
Wow, so Nancy just gave us a ton of information about what a typical day looks like for a medical assistant. And I hope that answered a lot of your questions. Now, if you've got more questions, or if you want to know the fastest and cheapest way to get into the space so that you could become a medical assistant in as little as 6 months, definitely check out our free masterclass at medicalassistantmasterclass.com. So I teamed up with Nancy to create a completely comprehensive masterclass that covers not only everything you want to know about the career, but we also give you the step-by-step blueprint to save time and money on your certification, so you could get there without any prior experience, without student loans, and without spending years in a classroom. So again, guys, right now it's free for a limited time. Go ahead and register and check out medicalassistantmasterclass.com. All right, guys, and as usual, go ahead and hit that subscribe and that like button. We try to put out amazing content about becoming a medical assistant and certifications in general. So by doing that, you really help out the program. As always, stay tuned for awesome content and take care.